So there's 16 hours and 8 hours on and 20 hours on and 4 hours off. I mean, there's so much to figure out with this intermittent fasting thing. I just figured we talk about it. So let's talk all things intermittent fasting. Basically, intermittent fasting is an eating protocol that calls for periods of eating and fasting, and a lot of us have heard about it. It's really all the rage right now, and I just want to talk a little bit about my experience with doing it. I became really passionate and really interested in it because I am a big believer of periods of fasting. I've been doing periods of fasting, detoxing, juicing, all of that good stuff for probably the past over 10 years now. And I even have a video on here which I'll link that will show you a little bit behind the scenes of how it is for me to detox and fast. And so when I heard about the intermittent fasting and just incorporating it into my life, I really was looking to have some of the results that I have when I am juicing, cleansing, and detoxing, but as a part of the eating protocol. So I just wanted to give you some tips for how you can make intermittent fasting a habit in your life. What are some things that you can do to start this healthy habit of maybe just closing down the time that you are eating, in order to help you really figure out if intermittent fasting is for you, and just kind of line up some things in your life if you're having some trouble figure out what your window is. I created a really cool worksheet for you where you can actually shade in the areas, shade in the hours that you won't be fasting, and shading your window, and then also plan for your meals when you have your eating window. But leave me a comment and let me know, have you tried intermittent fasting? Are you worried of it? What are some of your questions that you have when it comes to it? And if you have done it, you know, what was your success like? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? And I will be in there just talking to you all and answering your comments and questions. So my first tip is to pick a window of time and stick to it. A lot of times when we choose when we're going to eat, our body goes into a natural rhythm of hunger and not hunger. It knows when those times are and those cues are when you're going to eat. So when you pick a window of time, sticking to it and being consistent over weeks or months is really going to help your body to get acclimated to those periods of fasting and not have you be hungry and just restless and really just aggravated outside of the time that you've planned for yourself to eat. And I know in my own life, like literally my body will get on cue. And if I am actually not doing intermittent fasting and I'm eating more times a day, my body actually gets in a rhythm of getting hungry around those times that I'm eating. And so when you pick a window and you stick to it, you're really going to train your body to get hungry at those times when you have your open eating window. Most experts call for over 16 hours for it to be considered any type of intermittent fasting. And then also during that time, you want to make sure that you are burning out all your glycogen stores and your body starts to go into fat burning mode. So a lot of people who have tried intermittent fasting have actually seen huge results when it comes to fat loss and just losing weight in general. I know a lot of people talk about working out while you're intermittent fasting and how do you figure that out. I tend to like to structure my workouts in the morning because if I'm coming off of that nighttime meal, I usually go to sleep right afterwards. I'm not having any big exertion of energy where I'm expending a bunch of calories. What will happen is in the morning, I still have that energy from the meal from the night before. My glycogen stores are full because I've just eaten. And so I have enough energy probably for about 60 minutes of working out in order to complete that workout. And so if you are someone like me who likes to work out in the morning, but you're concerned about whether intermittent fasting would work with that, do not be alarmed. Your body stores energy and is able to burn whatever it has in it from the night before in order to complete your workout. So I hear a lot of conversation about intermittent fasting where people are eating large amounts of truly unhealthy food. And so I want you, as my second tip, is to make sure that you plan your meals ahead of time. I cannot stress that enough, because if you don't and you come to the beginning of your window and you've been fasting for 16 or 20 hours, you're probably gonna be a little hungry and you're gonna grab things that are hugely calorie dense and might not be that nutritionally sound for you. So definitely plan your meals ahead of time. That includes counting your calories, making sure that you have enough for whatever goals you're trying to achieve, making sure that your macros are on point, and by macros I mean your protein, your fats, and your carbohydrates, making sure that you're staying away from junk food, that you are not overeating, and making sure too that you are very mindful when you eat, that you are just aware of the goals that you're trying to achieve, and that just because your window is shorter doesn't mean that this is the time to have Thanksgiving dinner over the course of 4 hours. It's just not really a good thing to do if you're trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle or get in shape. My tip is to slow down during mealtime, to really make your meals extremely intentional. That means turning off the TV, maybe putting your cell phone aside, setting the table, like really having that moment to like enjoy and focus on what you're eating. And studies show actually if you hone in and really focus on what you're eating, not having a ton of distractions, making it an event, you actually eat a lot less versus almost sitting in front of the TV and just focusing on something else, or in front of the computer and just scarfing down food. So make that time really special. I mean, eating is truly a celebration. It really is a gift. And just to being able to sit down and enjoy a really good meal after especially a long day of intermittent fasting, it really is a special time for you. So make it special. What I mean by staying hydrated is making sure that the hours that you are actually fasting, that you are drinking enough water. And so by drinking enough water, you're drinking 2/3 of your body weight in ounces of water, and that you're having that as often as you feel thirsty, or every so often if you're not a person that tends to get thirsty after a while. This is gonna help you not focus so much on the food, and you're gonna feel a little bit fuller just knowing that you are hydrated. Our body can tend to feel hungry when we are actually thirsty. And so that's why it's important to make sure that we have enough water while we are intermittent fasting, so that we can avoid just feeling anguish as we approach the window that we are supposed to eat in. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. I'm really excited about this series in general because I am big on habits and creating routines in your life. And so if you want to see more of these types of videos, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and share it with someone who you think might want to know about intermittent fasting or is trying to conquer their habits. Grab that guide. It's really going to help you when it comes to figuring out your window and also planning for your meals and knowing what you're going to eat and when you're going to eat it. So I will see you next time for the next video in this series. Take care.